What's up, YouTube? It's your guy, Mr. Sooner, back with another reaction video. This time, I'm doing a reaction video to the NFC WildCard games today. Unfortunately, I didn't get to watch a lot of the games today. My son had a flag football practice, so I missed a good majority of the games today. I saw a little bit of the Saints and Vikings. I did miss the overtime on that. I did make it back in time to watch the second half of the Seahawks and the Eagles play. So just a real quick recap on what I saw. I did go back and watch some of the highlights, so I was able to catch what was going on with that. And side note, yes, I have my Dallas Cowboys hat on for a couple reasons. Yeah, we didn't make it into the playoffs, but it's always sweet to see the Eagles lose. So no crying over spilled milk there for me. Also, in Cowboys news, Jason Garrett did officially get fired today. I'll go into that a little bit later on in the video. But quickly on the first NFC wildcard game, the Vikings versus the Saints. For all intents and purposes, um, it was in New Orleans. I surely thought that the Saints were going to pull this one out. I knew it would be a good game. Kirk Cousins, he's a quality quarterback, and obviously you got Drew Brees. With Drew Brees in there, you never know what's going to happen. He could throw for 150 yards. He could throw for 550 yards. He's an awesome quarterback. He's already got his Super Bowl ring. Um, but I know there were a lot of high thoughts on the Saints making it to the NFC Championship game, possibly going to the Super Bowl. There was a lot of talk on that, but it looks like it's not happening this year. The Vikings did upset the Saints in New Orleans. So you do have a 6 seed that beat the Saints. Um, the Vikings are going to play the 49ers in San Francisco. I'll do a preview video on that later this week, along with the Seattle versus Packers game in the divisional rounds. But for right now, I'm just going to stick to the wild card in the NFC. So, like I said, the first game, Vikings win 26-20 in overtime. There was a questionable call at the end. Kyle Rudolph got a touchdown to seal the game for the Vikings. There was, like I said, a questionable call that he may have pushed off. From what I saw on the video and the highlights, it looked like a push off to me. But whenever you leave it in the replay's hands, it's dicey. But yeah, that was kind of a bad, and New Orleans, they've had some bad luck as of late when it comes to bad calls or bad no calls. Like I said, truly would have thought that New Orleans would have pulled that one out, but they didn't. The Vikings move on to play San Francisco. Here's some of the quick stats. Kirk Cousins had 242 yards, 1 touchdown. Dalvin Cook had 28 carries for 94 yards. Again, Kyle Rudolph caught the game-winning touchdown. For Drew Brees and company, Drew Brees had 208 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Alvin Kamara had 7 carries for 50 yards. So they pretty much kept Drew Brees in check, and they kept Alvin Kamara in check. And that's what you got to do. You got to slow down. You got to slow down the Saints when you're playing them, because they can put numbers up. We all know Drew Brees. He's a baller. He's straight up baller, and he's going to go out there and play. It's just today wasn't their day. So again, it sucks for Saint fans. They've seen a lot and gone through a lot lately. The last few seasons with, like I said, questionable no calls or questionable calls. So, it's the end of the Saints season. We'll see what they do next year. Congratulations to the Vikings. We'll see them play San Francisco. Now on to the Seahawks and the Eagles. Seahawks ended up winning 17-9. The defense played really good for Seattle. They had 20, I want to say they had 28 sacks all season. All season. In this game, they had 7 sacks, which is amazing. You put somebody down 7 times. Normally, you're going to win that game, that battle. Russell Wilson came out balling. He had 325 yards, 1 touchdown. I figured he would have got a couple more touchdowns. DK Metcalf, he's really turning out to be a really good receiver. He had 7 receptions, 160 yards, 1 touchdown. Also, Russell Wilson led the team in carries, 9 carries for 45 yards, or led the team in yardage. The interesting thing that happened in that game was Carson Wentz going out early with a head injury. They put him in the concussion protocol. So 40-plus-year-old Josh McCown came in as a backup. He did pretty good. He had 174 yards passing. He didn't have any touchdowns. So, that pretty much put Philadelphia behind the 8 ball. Once Carson Wentz went out, they did keep it close. The one thing I noticed is between the 20s, they were getting some yardage. They were getting it deep into Seattle's territory. The only problem was they couldn't convert in the red zone. They would get stalled out. They went for a couple fourth downs, fourth and shorts, didn't get them. So they had to settle for 3 field goals. Would Carson Wentz have made a difference? Possibly. We don't know, especially with him going out early. But, you got to convert those opportunities, especially in the playoffs. You can't settle for field goals. And I know they didn't want to settle for field goals, but when Seattle's defense steps up and, shuts you down in the red zone, it is what it is. But like I said, no tears for me when it comes to Philadelphia. They're a division rival with the Cowboys. We have a love-hate relationship with them. We love to hate them, and they love to hate us too. So I don't feel bad for them, but it did suck to see Carson Wentz go out the way he did. This was his first playoff game, able to play as an Eagle, and he didn't get to make it through. So I know it sucks for him. Because if you remember on their Super Bowl run, he didn't play. He was out with injury. So, yeah, it sucks for him, but, it is what it is. So the Seattle Seahawks are going to be playing at the Packers. Like I said, I'm going to do a reaction video or a preview video to both of those games, along with the AFC games later on down the road. So it was a pretty interesting wild card weekend. We had a couple overtime games, some close scores. So I'm really interested to see what happens moving on to the divisional rounds. Now on to my Cowboys. And like I said, I'm not going to try and spend a lot of time on this. I might do a longer video, go more into detail about what's going on with the Jason Garrett firing. So my thoughts on Jason Garrett is, I think he was a decent coach. I don't think he was the coach that was going to take us to the next level. Look at his record. He had 9 years with Dallas. His final record was 85-67. So he was 18 games above 500, but there was a lot of talent that was wasted in Dallas under his tenure, and other coaches before him. Um, I just think he was a decent coach. I think he would have been a better coordinator. But you also have Jerry Jones, who I there's questions I have with his abilities as owner. You know, and I love Jerry Jones. You know, I love Dallas Cowboys. What Jerry Jones has done for Dallas, once he bought them, turned Dallas around, made them Super Bowl champions 3 times, Super Bowl contenders. Uh, but it seems like, excuse me, it seems like after he won those Super Bowls, he became complacent. He started turning in more to a businessman, and concentrated more on marketing. I think he wanted to win. I think it was there, but at the same time, I don't want to say he didn't care. He definitely branded Dallas. Dallas is one of the, if not the richest sports organization in the world, not just America, not just the NFL, in the world. They're worth well over $4 billion. I think the next closest one is Real Madrid, the soccer team. They're pretty close behind, but definitely Dallas, as far as what they're worth. They are America's team, as much as you love to hate them, or hate to hear that. And even though, look, people, as a Dallas Cowboys fan, it sucked the last 20 years. They haven't done anything. They've gotten to the playoff under Garrett. They've gotten to the playoffs, and they've lost 3 times in the divisional round. They can't make it out of the divisional round for whatever reason, whether it's coaching. It's not talent. Dallas has always had talent. Tony Romo was a very underrated quarterback. Dak Prescott, I have my issues with Dak Prescott, but that's another discussion we'll have. He is a good quarterback, though. Now, I don't think Dak Prescott is the quarterback to take us to the next level, just like I didn't think Jason Garrett was either. But yeah, Garrett's record was 85-67 in 9 years. He was 2-3 in the playoffs. 2 of those losses came to Green Bay, one to the Rams in 2018. And that's just not acceptable, especially for the Dallas Cowboys. 2-3 in the playoffs over 9 years. That's just not acceptable. Now, I know there's been, a lot of talk of who's going to take over. And this is a bitter pill for me, because I'm an OU fan, obviously Mr. Sooner, but I'm also a Cowboys fan. I know there's a lot of talk of Lincoln Riley possibly going to the Cowboys. I know the Cowboys have shown interest in Lincoln Riley. I don't think Lincoln will go to the Cowboys, just because, having to deal with Jerry Jones on a daily basis, and I know Oklahoma's lost in the playoffs all 4 times we've made it. But let's be honest, people, OU is a juggernaut. They're one of those, once in a lifetime programs. There's only a handful of those to coach at, and Oklahoma definitely isn't a stepping stone program. They're a lifelong program for a lot of people. Now, will I say that Lincoln would never move? I think he would under the right scenario, but I really think he wants to win a national championship at Oklahoma before he leaves. I know Mike McCarthy his name has been thrown out, former Green Bay Packers coach. He might be a good fit. I think, with him working in the Green Bay organization, working with Aaron Rodgers, he's got a lot of experience, expertise. So I think he might be a good fit. Now, this is my kind of underdog who I would like to see at Dallas. I think the way he coaches, I just love it. And what he's done is Matt Rule for Baylor. That might not be a popular pick for some people. I kind of like it because he is in Waco, so he's familiar, with that region, with that area. He's not that far from the Dallas facilities. It wouldn't be a drastic move for him. And what he's done over the last couple years with Baylor, with everything that happened with Art Briles and all the troubles they had to bring Baylor back and resurrect him, and be literally, a touchdown, a few scores, a few seconds away from winning the Big 12 championship against my Sooners, which was another overtime game, and possibly going to the playoffs this year over Oklahoma. It's been amazing what he's done. So that's kind of my sleeper pick. I'd like to see. I think he'd be a good fit for the Cowboys. Now, is it going to happen? I don't know. Is the likelihood? I don't know. I haven't really heard a whole lot. I know he's been talked about, but I haven't heard a whole lot. Like I said, there's been some buzz around Lincoln Riley. I don't think he will go. I think if you want an honest pick, I think Mike McCarthy would probably be the best fit just because he has that NFL experience, that great NFL experience, especially with Aaron Rodgers. So, yeah, I think we'll just have to see how it goes. Hopefully in the next couple days, I'll, do a video once the dust settles and see more where direction they go. Also, like I said, I'm going to do a preview video of the divisional rounds. I'll give you my picks, who I think is going to win the games. But overall, it's been a quality weekend with the AFC and NFC wildcard games. So, again, the Vikings beat the Saints 26-20 in overtime. Seattle edges out Philadelphia 17-9. And looking forward to next week's divisional games. Thanks a lot, guys, for watching this video. If you do like this video, please hit the like and subscribe button. And I'm going to be putting more content out there in the next few days. I hope you like the videos, guys, and God bless.